One of my favorite events from last year is happening again, and you don't want to miss it. Books and Brews 2 will be held on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, at the Wyndham Hotel in Noblesville, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. You can meet over 60 horror authors, all in one place. You can buy books on site, or you can bring what you already have, and you can get them signed while you meet the authors. Books and Brews 2 is brought to you by the incredible horror book Facebook group, Books of Horror. Get your tickets today by clicking the link in the show notes. You don't need to be afraid. It's just horror authors. Welcome to Ink Blots, the show where I interview authors about their lives, writing, and the books they love. Be sure to follow the Ink Blots podcast on Substack. Not only can you listen to the latest episodes, but our Substack also has interview transcriptions and links to books and other items that we talk about on the show. If you like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. It really helps us and our sponsors out. Oh, and leave comments. We really do read and respond to every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Ink Blots. We are going to do a lightning round session with R.J. Joseph, horror author extraordinaire. You've probably heard R.J. or Rhonda on Ink Blots before because I posted an interview with her from last year. But we're going to do an all-new interview. But today we're not. Today we're just going to do lightning round questions and have a little bit of fun. Rhonda, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Rob. It's always a fun time with you.
Oh my God, you're like family to my family. So
right.
Today I said, guess who I'm talking to today? They're like, oh my God, can we all come on? I'm like, yes. Well, they're not home. So here we are. So Rhonda, give people, before we jump into it, give people a little background and mention, like, I know you've worked on a number of books, but before you do that, the reason Rhonda is coming back on for all of this, other than I love her, is she's going to be at Books and Brews 2, which is August 1st at the Wyndham Hotel in Noblesville, Indiana. And this is your big chance. She was not, when we did our Indie PopCon last year, she wasn't a member of that whole thing yet. And now she's fully integrated. And Rhonda, I do have to say, it's been fun to watch all the horror authors discover you and go, oh my God, Rhonda's my favorite. So here we are. So Rhonda, tell people about what you do and who you are.
So I'm an academic writer. I write about all things horror. And then my day job is an English professor where I get to talk about all things writing. And I like to slide a lot of horror in there too.
I bet you do. So, okay.
Yes.
We'll put links where people can go to your Amazon page. They can go to bookshop.org, and I'm going to put the books in there so they can buy your stuff and discover this marvelous writer you may not know. Rhonda, let's just do some goofy questions. First of all, have you been, I know you were at Indie PopCon, but this is another part of Indiana. Is this exciting for you? Do you have something you want to do when you're there, when you come to the Midwest? Is there anything that you're like, I'm back, I'm going for whatever?
I don't. I'm a terrible planner that way. So I just kind of fall into stuff. So I'm sure when I get there, somebody will go, oh, hey, here's this thing. And I'll go, yay, let's do it. You know, so no,
it's a party.
I don't have any plans.
All right. Well, you're a horror author, but is that what you've always done? Is that like you've always been like, I love horror, I'm a horror author? Or have you experimented in other genres and it's just like, this is the one that lights you up?
Yeah, this is the one that stuck. So like I literally have an MFA in creative writing and my thesis is a romance novel. So I started out writing romance. Yes, I started out writing romance, have a couple of things kind of go, but for this horror thing, it's always been kind of in the background. And so when I was in the program, I actually was writing both horror and romance, but you know, you have to pick one for your thesis. So I came out and it's like I hit the ground running and you know, it's all things horror. Apparently I'm supposed to be over here on the dark side, not on the rainbow kitty unicorn side.
Yeah, but you know, that is a legit question. I mean, don't you find that you find things in the other genres that fit, like romance and horror. There can be a thin line between them. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Well, all the time. Oh yeah. Well, they're siblings. I mean, not just in aesthetic, like they both derived from the Gothic era, those writings and things. But I mean, just the height of emotions, like, horror and love and fear. They work really well hand in hand. So I do have a lot of romance lines in my horror. It's just that I understand that without that happy for now ending, I don't dare call it a romance. It's still going to be a horror.
So in other words, it's not going to end up a Hallmark movie. It's more like It's a Wonderful Knife. Things are going to get... did you see, speaking of that type of thing, did you see the movie Hard Eyes?
Yes, I did. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
That is totally like a Hallmark movie that, oh my God, there's blood and meat everywhere. I just watched it. That was exact. Right. I'm watching it thinking, they get it. They get it that you can do that. Now, do you find that there are other genres that have such a close relationship?
I don't know. I mean, I think that when we talk about like maybe mystery and thrillers, they tend to be pretty well linked. I think that mysteries just don't do a lot of the hardcore stuff that thrillers do. So I think that if I had to think of another relationship that was that close, it would probably be those two.
Yeah, see, it's funny because way back when I was studying to be an actor and I got into comedy, I actually always said comedy and horror were the two closely related because it's all about emotion. It's all about getting that reaction. So I like it, as you know, because you've done panels with me. If I get a boo, I'm just as happy as if I get a clap.
Yes.
Give me that reaction. If somebody craps their pants because they're scared or gets all welled up, it's emotion. That's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
Okay, I mentioned Hard Eyes. I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me 3 favorite horror movies off the top of your head. As of right now, I know it changes day to day. Right now,
okay, horror movies?
Yep.
Yeah, right now. Oh my gosh, Sinners. That was amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm dying.
Yeah. So there's that. I have to say that The Thing, John Carpenter's version always comes up for me. And then I'd have to say Nosferatu from last year. Those are my favorites right now. Yes. Oh my gosh, I loved it. We're talking about love and romance and horror. That was a really good blend too.
It's funny. The last Books and Brews interview I did, we brought up movies. Not the same question. And they brought up the Nosferatu from the 70s. And they said they just love it so much. And it's like, wow, that seems to be a timeless, because I love the original. I saw that on the screen and was like, this is incredible. So I have not seen this new one yet, but it's coming, right?
It's great. Yes.
All right. So horror for you, is it serial killers? Is it monsters? Is it vampires? What is it? What's your thing?
It's all of that. I think that my thing is mostly those things that are unsettling. Like sometimes horror creeps up on us, right? Just because something is a little off-putting. But I think that horror really is that feeling, that unsettlement, that little unease that starts to kind of creep in. So yeah, and I think that kind of encompasses all of that stuff. I mean, serial killers are scary.
Yeah, but when you write, what is it that you go to?
It's usually that weirdness, like that whole, here's this thing that happened, but it didn't go the way you think it would have gone, right? So it's kind of that, that's the way my horror writing brain works. It's like, okay, there's this car accident. Yeah, but was the accident really the worst thing? Could there be things worse than that? Well, yeah, like the refrigerator that banged into the car. There's something in the refrigerator, right? Oh. So the accident itself, that's terrifying. But my brain says to me, yeah, but that's not the worst thing.
What's inside that fridge and why and how and
exactly.
Yeah. Is there any horror book that ever like stuck with you, gave you nightmares?
Oh man, Pet Sematary from Stephen King was just terrifying. Like I've done multiple reads, and every time I read it, it's scarier and scarier. Like especially once I had kids. Oh my gosh.
Okay, what part in that book? Because there's a part in that book. It did the same thing to me. There's one part that stuck with me in this weird way. Is there a part in that book that like you go, hell yeah, that's the thing, and it's so upsetting?
It's always the part where the baby runs into that street.
Engage. That is
because who would
awful.
Us as parents? I mean, as parents, you go like my daughter's in a wheelchair, right? And so there have been times that when the brake is kind of wonky, her chair just kind of goes rolling away, and I'm like what? So I mean, these are things that this is parents. You're worried about this, right?
Yeah.
So that always stuck with me.
Yeah. For me in that book, it's the part, it wasn't in the movie. It's the thing in the woods when they're going off and they start hearing the footsteps, and it's like there's a monster in the woods, but then he doesn't go back to it.
Yeah.
And to me, I read that and I was like, oh, I think this is going to happen. And then there's never another reference. And every time I talk about that book, I'm like, what the hell was in the woods that he was laying in there? I don't think it was a mistake. I think he was just upsetting us. I mean, I know that it's supposed to be like Native American folklore or something, but yeah. So who's your
right? He does that well.
Who are your top 3 horror authors right now?
Top 3 horror authors right now. Elle Marie Wood is a dear friend of mine, but I'm just a huge fangirl of her stuff. She writes this really, really intriguing psychological horror that I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did you do this? Why are you so creepy?
Right.
Just why do you do this? I am really into Adam Neville right now. I don't know how I did not read Neville's stuff before. Like I'm a huge folklore fan, but I'd never read his stuff. And so now I'm like, I need to like fix this. I got to read all this stuff. And then Tananarive Due is always a longtime favorite.
I think you mentioned Tananarive Due awesome. On the last time I interviewed you. So I would say that one
yes.
count as a constant for you.
Yes.
Okay. At Books and Brews 2. Books and Brews 2, August 1st in Noblesville, Indiana. You're going to be there. People can get signatures and meet you and bask in your glow. But here's the thing. There are all these other authors there. Is there anybody that you personally are like, oh, hell yeah, I can't wait to meet this person?
I have actually been at events with Jonathan Janz before, and I have never had the time to just go up and introduce myself and say, man, I love your work. And so hopefully this will be that con where I actually get to do that. Because I do love his work, and he's such a nice guy. I just haven't had time to really just, do that meeting thing.
Well, this is where it's going to happen. It just has to happen here. As someone who went to it last year, I know that those connections happened like crazy. I got to talk to everybody. I got to spend time with everybody. In fact, even like Josh Mallerman, who was so busy, was walking by, and I went like, hey, I'm so-and-so. And he took the time to stand there. We talked for a while, and then he was like, now we got to go to the airport. I wish we had spent more time together. It was really, really cool. So you're going to have that. Nice. You're going to have that. All right, Rhonda, this was the little bite-sized version of our interview. We will schedule another one. Those of you that want to hear Rhonda really get into it, we have a lot more not as fluffy questions that we will be going through at a very near future podcast. Thank you for being on Ink Blots. I'll put show notes where people can follow you. What's the best place? Where's the most interaction with you?
Probably on social media, unfortunately, at R. Jackson Joseph. I'm in most of the spaces.
Great. Hey, people can reach out, and I cannot stress enough how much you want to read Rhonda's books. Rhonda, thank you so much for being on, and we will talk very shortly.
Yes. Talk soon. Thank you.